as ever in transfer windows, there is always a knock-on effect. And what we want to talk to you about is how this affects Marcus Rashford, because, Rory, it seems to be the case that Marcus Rashford has been waiting for the call-up from Barcelona. But if Nico Williams chooses... If they get Nico Williams, and they're a club that are always, for the past few years, been flying close to the wind in terms of their PSR rules in Spain, it looks unlikely that Rashford's going to get that move to Barcelona. So my question is...
I would say it looks unlikely whether they sign Nico Williams or not. Marcus Rashford waiting for the phone call from Barcelona is the same as me waiting for the phone call from Barcelona. He's got some front, isn't he?
Well, I think there's a slight difference.
What are we talking about?
I think that, look, what I will say about Marcus Rashford is... I just do not understand the narrative when he went to Aston Villa and played about 3 seconds in the claret and blue there, that all of a sudden he was a world beater pulling up trees. I don't agree with that, but things did improve, and there seems to have been historic interest between the clubs. But there is now a world, Rory, and this is what I want to get your take on, where he ends up back with Ruben Amorim at Carrington, doing a pre-season with Manchester United. Do you think there is a way back for him? Do you think that United fans will take him back into their hearts, or do you think he's done irreparable damage to his reputation at the club?
The latter, what you just said. I think that it's over. I think sometimes you have a situation in football, you know, when it just naturally ends. There is just a natural parting of the waves, and the player and the club have to move in a different direction. It's best for everyone. It's very rare. Most of the time, somebody leaves and it leaves a bitter taste for someone, or somebody is getting a promotion or whatever. It's a very rare occurrence in football where all parties benefit from a departure. But I think this is an example. I think there's a natural ending, if we just to draw a parallel, very different circumstances. But I think Darwin Núñez leaving Liverpool, it's just come to an end. It's been an experiment. On some level it's worked, on some level it hasn't worked.
But surely it's different with Manchester United, and I want to get your...
Marcus Rashford can't play for Manchester United again. There is just no way that he can play for Manchester United again. The way that he's treated the club, the way that he's treated the fans, some of the things that he said about the club, some of the... Just his overall approach to football for that club. If you think about the falling out that he had with Erik ten Hag, if you think about the way that Ruben Amorim has spoken about him, I just think that it is over. There is no way that he can play for that club again.
03717223344. Let us know what you think. Is there a way back for Marcus Rashford? Now, Rory, I agree with you on so many levels, but one thing I will say about Manchester United is that for me, their fan base is incredibly loyal. Whether that's to underperforming managers, underperforming players, particularly
and
their
to villains,
own.
and to villains, to David Beckham when Beckham was the villain, like persona non grata in the country, and to Cristiano Ronaldo when he came back off the winking scandal. Again, he was, like they make a point, don't they? They sing Argentina to Tevez, and they loved Beckham, they loved Ronaldo. You are right. They are a tribal and loyal supporter base.
If there's any fan base in the country that could build a bridge with a player that is seemingly given up, just sort of looking for a move away at any opportunity, I do think that Manchester United fans have it in them. So I want to know whether or not they would, because he's on 225 grand a week, mate.
Max,
it's not as if in this PSR world. It's not as if in this PSR world that clubs can just throw money at a player who hasn't been performing for 2 or 3 seasons.
This isn't it. You know, when you're saying that they have a history of loyalty, they have a history of resilience, they have a history of demonstrating loyalty when perhaps the easier thing to do would be to turn the other cheek. You're absolutely right. Manchester United fans, I think, pride themselves on their loyalty. But you're talking about Marcus Rashford in the era where they were singing that Stone Roses song, "Is Mank born and bred" and all that. This isn't that. You're talking about Marcus Rashford as if we were having this conversation half a decade ago.
Well, away from the loyalty, Rory, he's on an astonishing weekly wage.
Yeah, but everyone is there. Casemiro's on 350 grand a week.
As we know, Manchester United are looking to offload, and they've had a long time to be able to offload Marcus Rashford. No one has come in for him permanently. And so all I'm saying is Manchester United fans may be in a situation where they have to. They have to allow him.
There is an abundance of players that Manchester United would want rid of that are going nowhere. Luke Shaw isn't fit to wear that Manchester United crest. Luke Shaw should never play for Manchester United.
He's not fit enough.
No, he's literally not fit enough, but he's also... Luke Shaw shouldn't play for Manchester United again for a plethora of reasons, right? And one of them is that he's not good enough to play for them. He's not a particularly good player anymore, if he ever was. But they are lumbered with him because nobody is going to match his wages. Nobody's going to come close to his wages. So they are going to be lumbered with Luke Shaw. Impossible to sell. They are going to be lumbered with Casemiro. Impossible to sell. Who on earth is going to give Casemiro a contract on 350 grand a week? Manuel Ugarte. They signed him a year ago. Luis Enrique, who just won the Champions League, by the way, looked at Ugarte and went, nah. Man United went, yes, please. Gave him a massive contract. There is an abundance of players. If we want to focus on Marcus Rashford, we can do that. And I think that on some level you are correct, because Rashford is probably the most talented and probably the most likely to find a suitor. But he is stuck there because no club that he would consider going to is going to take a punt on him. And he will never get the wages. He will just sit there, see his contract out.
Well, another player that we can talk about, Manchester United, who seemingly looks, when you look at his body language after that Europa League final, he looks like he's on his way out, is Alejandro Garnacho. Now,
he hates him. He's got some front him. He hates the club.
Well, what about Chelsea? I mean, there's been long links with Garnacho to Chelsea. Would you not take him?
No, I think the last thing in the world that Chelsea need is another inside forward of a particular age.
Well, you're in for Lyon's Belgian winger Malik Fofana.
Yeah, we are. I mean, Jamie Gittins, and we all obviously have an abundance of these players at the club. I mean, you've got to remember, Mykhailo Mudryk is still a Chelsea player. You know, until recently, Jadon Sancho was a Chelsea player. Like, what we don't need is, I mean, we don't need another winger, but we certainly don't need another troublesome youth. We don't need Alejandro Garnacho. Like, whatever you think of previous Manchester United managers or the current Manchester United manager, what I'm about to say has nothing to do with how highly you rate Ruben Amorim or how highly you rate Erik ten Hag. It's about respecting the office of Manchester United manager. You are the Manchester United manager. You therefore command an element of respect. And Alejandro Garnacho doesn't subscribe to that at all. He's a problem. He also has a hyperinflated sense of his own ability. He's an all-right winger who's scored some wonderful goals. But the consistency isn't there. The ability seems to be there, but not often enough. We've seen him go missing loads of times, and he's actually caused Manchester United far more trouble than moments of brilliance that he's given them. Chelsea and everyone just stay well clear of Alejandro Garnacho. Leave him as Manchester United's problem. Leave Jadon Sancho as Manchester United's problem.
Manchester United fans, is there any way back for Marcus Rashford in your eyes? And Chelsea fans, would you take Alejandro Garnacho? Give us a call and you'll be next here on talkSPORT. 03717 223344.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.